Hey, what's up, all you Chao racers out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm coming at you with another issue review of IDW's Sonic the Hedgehog. This time it's issue number 33, titled Chao Races and Badnik Bases, Part 1. Now, the special thing about this story is that it is not written by Ian Flynn. No, he has transferred over to the Bad Guy series, the Sonic the Hedgehog Bad Guy series, which I will be covering later on. But he is taking over duties for that miniseries, and the main book has been temporarily handed over to Evan Stanley, writer and artist extraordinaire, writer and artist for the fan series Ghost of the Future. Check it out if you haven't. She has it available on her DeviantArt. It's fantastic, lots of fun, always good stuff. I love her art, and I've loved her storytelling. She's done stories for the Archie series before, and to know that she's coming in here is also great because she, like Flynn, actually understands the characters. She keeps them in line with what I feel that their personality should be. There's no feeling of deviation or that she goes too far, does too little. She uses these characters to their full extent. And there's, nobody better to just run things for a little bit. So an excellent choice, but let's jump into the story proper with the first part. So, after the events of everything that happened in terms of the metal virus and all that good stuff, Omega ended up falling to pieces after taking down the Eggman big boy mech that he ended up being strapped to and all that good stuff. He was just shoddily just put onto a new body and it fell apart. So Rouge is there with Amy and Tails to try to put the big guy back together. They got all of his parts, brought it to Tails' workshop, but unfortunately Tails isn't quite able to do the job without getting some of the source code and the cinematics to properly put Omega back the way he's supposed to be. So Sonic says that, and the only way to do that is actually to get hardwired into the Eggnet, Eggman's personal network. So Sonic jumps in and suggests that they head to a nearby Eggman base that he knows about in order to get those schematics. Mostly with Sonic just jumping in because he's got nothing really better to do. However, what they will need is more parts in order to make sure they're able to put Omega back proper. That's where Rouge comes in, as she actually has an idea of where to get parts. See, she's been casing this place called the White Park Zone, with a cache of robot parts as well as various jewels and the like. So she gets something that she wants, and they get something that they want, despite the fact that Omega is her friend. Weird. But there's this guy called Clutch who runs a Chao racing circuit. So their best option is to enter into the Chao race undercover and grab some of those parts along the way. So, ultimately, Amy ends up contacting Vanilla to see if they can get permission for Cream to have Cheese enter into the race to get parts. With Amy schmoozing things over with Vanilla over the fact that, hey, look, with everything that happened and the fact that Omega really deserves some help in this trying time. He ended up getting damaged with everything that went on. And, Vanilla at first isn't kind of hesitant, but she realizes that, General is also kind of banged up after everything that happened to him. Yeah, General kind of got the butt end of a lot of stuff going down in the past few issues, but she figures that the best bet to fix up General it would be to enter this race, and as long as it's just a race, things should hopefully be fine. General naturally will be accompanying Cream as he is basically her chaperone. Meanwhile, Tails and Sonic enter into the underground base, making jokes, making light, just having a rompous good time. But an unknown figure has been following them in the shadows. They end up finding a computer terminal as well as a bunch of blasted Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles dolls, very reminiscent of Sonic Adventure, where Eggman's underground base that connected to the egg carrier, had several things like that as well. But we then cut over to White Park, where Amy, Cream, Rouge, Gemerald, Cheese are all heading there in Amy's car, which I love the fact that Amy's car made a return. But on the road, they end up running into Shadow, who is up to something. But he decides to just kind of take off, not really saying what he's doing here. And when Amy mentions that they're trying to fix up Omega, he pauses for a moment and says he's not interested. I think there's a little bit more to it than that. Unfortunately, Sega has kind of wanted Shadow to kind of remain in kind of a Vegeta like role, kind of on the outskirts of things, not really getting as closely involved, which is unfortunate because we went through all of that. We went through that in the games. The Archie series kind of covered that for a bit before they started to bring him into his own. We had the Archie reboot series that had his whole story, which ended up also growing on his character, and to see him kind of regress back into the sullen anti-hero kind of thing. It's just kind of like, oh, no, I'm not quite digging it, but it's all right. It's not the worst. They use it to good effect here, but you know, Amy feels a little slighted, but Rouge tells her not to take it personally. If anything, he was probably the most polite you'd ever see Shadow to be. So they end up entering the contest. However, unfortunately, they have to enter Cheese under Rouge as they can't have a child enter the race. So she goes in under the name of Facet, which is an alias because, international jewel thief. You really don't want your name getting out there. So we also see that Chao is emceeing for the event, which makes sense. It's Chao race, tutorials, and all that. And that's the last thing we saw him doing in Sonic Free Riders, I think it was. Yeah, Sonic Free Riders. I'm pretty sure. That was his role there. So of course he's still doing that. Well, Cream doesn't quite feel Rouge's whole thing about fudging the truth and all that. Rouge does her best in order to calm him down. We also get introduced to Clutch, who is a rat, which we actually haven't seen a rat-like character in quite a while. He kind of reminds me of Renfield T. Rodent, who was from the Archie series, who ran this amusement park. But we always end up with these business mogul type characters. It was Renfield, then you had Mammoth Mogul in the Archie series, then that rebooted, and then you got Breezy. I miss Breezy. She was so cool. I loved her in that role. So, and now we have Clutch, apparently, who's all about the Chao races. And his Chao is the meanest one around. As the race begins, Cheese is a little taken aback, but he has the speed to catch up, only for this dark Chao to come out of nowhere and blindside him. But with some encouragement from Cheese and Amy, well, from Cream and Amy, I should say, Cheese is able to make it into the top 50 for the final races. And so they get into the qualifying bracket. Cream is ecstatic. She's happy that Cheese managed to make it and all that. She felt he was amazing and brave and all that. But Cheese isn't quite sure of that dark Chow who played a little too rough. However, Clutch takes a bit of an interest in the owner of Cheese, Facet, and invites her to his personal room. Oh, I'm getting my pronouns all mixed up. To have a little chat about her Chao. So she ends up going to Clutch's room, finds that he's basically a hoarder. He has tons of robot parts and jewels and gems and a collection of various different things just kind of scattered about. But when she meets up with Clutch, he makes it known that he knows exactly who she is. Rouge the Bat, the international world famous jewel thief. But he doesn't take any offense to her being there, as he wants to make a deal. He wants her Chao. He wants cheese, and would love to trade something from his collection for the Chao. So Rouge kind of pauses on that offer, says she'll think about it. And on her way out, she has a bit of a discussion with Omega and gives him a job that only he can do. So she ends up exiting the, you know, Clutch's room. Stumbling. Ends up exiting Clutch's room, and she ends up encountering a hooded figure who had actually been following them ever since they got there. But once that figure takes off their hood, we don't see what happens as we switch to Shadow outside, kind of monologuing to himself, trying to hunt down the doctor, hearing rumors about bot traders, very shady stuff going on. But his monologue is interrupted when he notices a glowing figure exiting the premises, and he ends up giving chase. But this figure shows super speed as well as super strength as they take a beam from the roof and knock Shadow off the roof. And that's where we end our issue. Very interesting, very fascinating. I like this. I like the characterization of Rouge, as well as the way she's drawn by Evan Stanley. I love the fact that every once in a while we see her fang. A lot of people forget that Rouge has fangs, and I love to see it on display. It's always very cute. But I love seeing Amy, I love seeing Cream, I love seeing Rouge. I love them in their winter outfits, which are all taken from the Sonic Channel, which is, always has the characters in various different outfits from time to time. I love Sonic Channel artwork. It's always a blast to see. But, I'm wondering who that mysterious figure is, although we kind of got spoiled on that. I won't spoil that here. But a mysterious figure is following Sonic and Tails. Who could it be? Is it friend or foe? And who is this hooded figure who managed to get the drop on Shadow? What did this figure do with Rouge? What is their intention? And will Rouge ultimately try to give up Cheese to Clutch? And will Amy and Cream have something to say about that? I can't wait to see what happens. I can't go into detail about that shadowy figure, as I already know something. If you've been on the internet, you should know by now who that character is. It's the big news event of everything, but this hooded figure is kind of unknown to me. I'm wondering about their weird color shifting powers. Are they some form of robot, possibly? Or are they well, for lack of a better term, Mobian, with a very unique set of powers and skills. Someone who changes color. It was very reminiscent of, Whisper and her color changing abilities and all that. Could it possibly be Mimic with a new brand of power sets? I don't know. He's supposed to be featured in Bad Guys. Just have to wait and see. But, leave your speculative thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think this new hooded adversary is? What do you think about Clutch? How do you feel about the characterization of our heroes in this issue? And What was your favorite part of this issue? Leave it all in the comment section below. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you never miss out on another Sonic the Hedgehog by IDW issue review. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Bye-bye.